It's time to finalise those last-minute transfers and look ahead to our team selection for Game Week 12. I've got a recap of how Game Week 11 went, and it was one of those ones that just continued my theme for the season and not very good. But I've got a plan now for Game Weeks 12, 13 and onwards, where I'm going to soar up the rankings and be inside the top million teams by the end and conclusion of Game Week 19. And it starts this week, right here, right now. We're taking on Alan again, baby, as captain. And I'm going to explain why when we get there. And with that being said, folks, if you are enjoying this content, make sure you smash a like on the video. Leave us a comment with what you're doing and how you're shaping up and how many players you've got affected under flags. And if you haven't already, please consider smashing the subscribe button. We're on the way to 5K, baby. And with that being said, let's get into it. So how did Game Week 11 go? Well, Game Week 11 was one of those weeks that it looked like it was going to start off, and it feels like such a long time ago. I was defected for the opening game of this game week, watching it on my phone. Where is my phone? Right here, like this. I was literally like looking at my phone, watching the game, and well, it's kind of set the tone for the game week. Like United were rubbish and somehow conceded 2 goals to Tottenham, and I think we've got a problem with Casemiro. When he goes off, the team goes to utter nonsense. But the boys delivered. Like, I couldn't be too disappointed. Like, Brian Mbeumo scored. Bruno Fernandes got an assist. Unfortunately, bar 2 other players in the team, the rest of them didn't get the memo that they were actually playing before they went away on international holiday and just forgot to show up, which was highly frustrating. And yeah, I mean, it got significantly worse post that moment. And I said on my team selection is I would have captained one of those United boys if it wasn't for the fact they had the early kickoff. And how annoying is it when you captain blanks in the very first game? Sometimes just go with your gut feeling. I thought both of the boys would score or get returns. And ironically, if I picked either of them, I would have beaten the Haaland captainers. So that's on me for doing it. Obviously, I did go with Gabriel, and we'll talk about... He's obviously now injured, just to compound matters. So I got the one good captaincy out of him the week before where he got 12 points and still lost to Haaland by 1. This week, Haaland, thankfully, got the memo that, he was trying to help me out. He missed a penalty, and then he only got 1 goal. So in the end, that equated to 4 points. Again, I lost out by 3 points there, but I'm happy. I feel like... Again, like some of these things you can consider unlucky. Chalobah, obviously amazing, 6 points there, nice clean sheet. I mean, it got a little bit nervy towards the end, but, that's what we want. That's why I bought him for that fixture and for this week, and hopefully he does the same thing this week. Hopefully he starts this week, would be nice. And let's talk about the disappointments. Semenyo, missed penalty, yellow flagged. I think he's going to be fine. Congratulations on your engagement, mate. I hope that means you'll score lots of points this week. That'd be nice before I sell you in Game Week 13. But yeah, then Rice, I mean, he went close to getting points, but he didn't. Gabriel, I mean, they conceded twice of 0.54 XG. That's frustrating. And then I actually thought I was on here in the Crystal Palace Brighton game. That game started and Sarr and Mateta both had really good chances in the first 30 minutes. I was like, we are on here, baby. We're off. We're away. But alas, nothing happened. They both blanked. Get a clean sheet point for Sarr. Lots of XG racked up. No end result. Not ideal. And then let's get on to how my luck has fared with double defence this season. I started Nottingham Forest, double defence, game weeks 1 to 5, not one clean sheet. From game week 6, when I wildcarded, I went with double Newcastle defence, and you better believe it, they've got 1 clean sheet over the last 6 weeks, and enough is just done. Dan Burn made it exceptionally easy. Yes, you did wonders for me last season when you scored in blank game week 34, but you are gone, mate. That is the most pointless red card I've ever seen in my life. It was pathetic. How allowed him to stay on the field post the first half. I mean, he definitely should have given away the first penalty. That was more of a penalty than the second. I feel like the second yellow card was harsh. It wasn't really a yellow card challenge, I didn't think. But hang your head in shame. That's not what the doctor ordered. I brought you in expecting clean sheets. You've delivered 1 clean sheet, 1 assist, a red card, and 4 blanks. That is just not on, and good riddance. Absolute good riddance. That's all you need to sum up. I left, obviously, Senesi beat him on the bench by 2 points this week again. Mukiele beat him by 4 points, getting the assist, actually beating Gabriel and Burn. Jokes, isn't it? And then Mark Gui, I mean, he is a problem. And if I had taken my time back again a couple of weeks, it was a mistake bringing him in. With all the flags that we're going to have and all the fixtures coming up, it makes sense to actually have a player that you can rely on in that position. And that's part of my methodology towards where I'm going with my team selection for Game Week 12. So the mini league leader stays the same. It is pretty close at the top, but 5 at the back, set and forget, managed by Ryan Campbell. He's having a dream season again. For the 4th week in a row, this man has picked a different captain to Haaland, and he's beaten him in every single week. So he's done what I've done, but he's succeeded every week. I've only succeeded in 1 week where I picked Fernandes, and Fernandes beat Haaland that week where he blanked. Now, hopefully, I can channel some of Ryan's captaincy genius and actually get a win this week. That is the plan. And look, what can I say? I mean, his 5 at the back is killing it. He had Munoz, Kukurea, Lacroix, 18 points right there and then. He obviously captained Kukurea, which was nice. He got 6 points, doubled it was 12. Obviously beat the Haaland captainers. Very nice. Then he had Elliot Anderson. I mean, he was kind of unlucky. He had Mbumo sitting on the bench. If he played Mbumo over Enzo or Mateta, he would have been absolutely loving life. He'd be inside the top 1,000. But he's just having an unbelievably GOAT season. And long may it continue, Ryan. You're in a really good chance of actually winning FPL. So keep it up, mate. And, well, I've got to try and hunt you down some way. Which way or the other. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to give it a good shot. So on to my final plugs for Game Week 12, and this is the last good week in a while to take on the Cyborg. Look, not even I'm taking him on next week. I can tell you straight off the bat, you'll have a look at this in a minute later on this video. I have Haaland captain locked. Game Week 13, probably Game Week 15, Game Week 17, probably even 16. I mean, no, actually 16 I won't. But like for the majority of the next few weeks, it is utter silliness to take him on. Leeds at home, West Ham at home. Those 2 fixtures in particular, he is going to feast. How much he's going to feast, that's probably up to how long Pep leaves him on the field and how quickly he can score the goals. But there's nothing to suggest that he won't get a hat-trick in any of those games. Now, Newcastle need to show up and put a performance in because they were god-awful against West Ham. They were god-awful against Brentford. I don't think the fans at St. James's Park will put up with a third disgusting performance. So I think Haaland, I think he might score this weekend. His record against Newcastle's not flash. 1 in 6 games versus them. He's had a couple of assists in those games as well. So history suggests that he's going to be under double digits this week. So it's definitely capable of taking him on. I think there are a number of players, and we're going to cover that in the late mail tomorrow, that you probably can beat him with this week. Now, Gabriel is definitely an issue for 40-odd%, maybe slightly under now, because a lot of people have been selling him over the last 24, 48 hours. He needs to just be gone. There's no point holding him. He's going to probably, if David Ornstein has dropped the bomber that he's going to be out for 1 to 2 months, he's an immediate sell. Just get him out. He's no point carrying him. He's going to drop back down to 6 million, if that is correct, because that's about 6 to 8 game weeks he's probably going to miss over that 1 month. Like 1 month is to Christmas. That is game week 17, 18. That's a lot of game weeks he's missing. So you got to sell him. And I actually think that the key to success is actually just dodging the Liverpool assets completely. Virgil van Dijk, Canade, Bradley, Robertson, Frimpong, who's the other bloke, Kirkes, they are all the definitions of traps. Liverpool's fixtures might look okay on paper, but it's when you look at the really good one, it's West Ham away. And West Ham have actually been scoring goals at home. Cued the Newcastle game. Hello, 3 goals against them. They might concede goals, but they're scoring them. And I just don't think that going for a Liverpool defence that looks bang average is a smart play. Now, back to a normal deadline this week. And obviously, it is post the international break, so you've got to keep that in mind. Obviously, that means the late mail, folks, is coming back. It's back tomorrow. It's live at 4 p.m. UK time. It's actually 3:59 p.m. UK time, because that way I can schedule it for tomorrow rather than on Saturday at midnight. So, obviously, I'm staying up late for it. I'll have all the updates, all the press conferences. Make sure you tune in. There's live question and answer sections. It's going to be brilliant. It's going to be packed. Lots of fun stuff as well to cover in there as well. This is also, remember, the season of roulette. And the European teams, there's going to be happening. It's going to be happening rife throughout this next month of the season. For a lot of teams have fixture congestion and fixture pile-up. And I'm telling you, this weekend, it might be classical Maresca roulette, where he throws out the dice and you don't know who's going to start, who's going to last 60 minutes, who's going to come on for a one-pointer. I don't have the answers. I'm just hoping Chalobah starts and gets a clean sheet. That's all I care about, and I will be selling him straight after that. They have Barcelona 3 days after this game, or 2 days after this game. There is no way... Yeah, they play on Tuesday night, they play on Saturday, lunchtime kickoff. There's no way that players that will be playing in that Barcelona game will be playing the full game against Burnley. I can give you the hot tip, so just be prepared for it, folks. Now, also, if you don't have double United attack, you can expect yourself to have a big, fat red arrow on Monday night, because Man United, there's going to be a scoring frenzy at Old Trafford, and it's not going to be for Everton players, it's going to be for United players. Watch out. I reckon we're going to smoke them. I reckon we're going to put at least 3 goals past Everton on Monday Night Football. You heard it here first. Come back on Tuesday and we'll find out if I'm correct or not. I'm also doing a live watch along for that game because obviously it's Man United, so you get bonus Monday Night Football on the channel as well. Wolves will also, I believe, confirm that they are just the relegation fodder waiting to happen. I don't think the new manager is going to have any bounce whatsoever. I think Crystal Palace account for them easily. And the last thing that we've probably got to ask ourselves, will Newcastle and Bournemouth actually have better game weeks this week now that they're back at home? Because my God, both of those teams have looked horribly defensively, and the data has backed it up as well away from home. Hopefully they can get the form right, because I'm playing double Bournemouth defence this week and I won't be happy if they don't. So on to my team selection for game week 12, and this is how we're lining up, folks. We've made one transfer. We've locked and loaded. It's Dan Burn out for Daniel Munoz. The most sensible defensive transfer you can make if you don't own a Crystal Palace defender or you have a Crystal Palace slot free is Gabriel out to Munoz. Now, I got rid of Burn because I was sick of having him and I didn't realise the Gabriel thing had happened, and I obviously wanted to catch the Munoz price rise, which did happen. So I got him at 5.7. He's already risen up to 5.8. It's just a delicious fixture, and there's no reason to sit there and second guess, and it's a great move, and I think he'll be perfectly fine. So he comes in, and he's tripling up with Sarr and Mateta. Now, I'm hoping that that's a goal frenzy, and all 3 of them are involved in attacking returns, because if they are, I am off and are running for an amazing game week straight off the bat. Now, the other games that are obviously going to be hugely impactful for me is obviously the Bournemouth game. I've got a triple up there against West Ham. I'm hoping they can shut it out. And ideally, Semenyo will score, and that way it will prevent people from selling him and his price dropping. So that way I can assess the Champions League midweek and work out where I want to sell Semenyo to myself in game week 13. And I'm going to give you a hot tip on what that looks like very shortly. Then we've got Chalobah, his last game in the team before he gets transferred out. He's actually been pretty damn good for me outside of that red card, and that was not his fault. That was bloody Santos playing the ball back, which got him into a spot of bother. Now, at the moment, I am playing Rice on field. However, there is a case to be made that potentially I should be playing Mukiele against Fulham away on field instead. And originally, before Gabriel got injured, I was actually intending on benching Haaland for Gabriel and playing him. I know utter madness, but I've looked into Newcastle's record against Haaland and it's not overly fantastic. And I was willing to do it because I thought that that was actually a good move. However, Gabriel's gone down, so now it just doesn't make any sense to take the cyborg on in terms of just benching him straight off the bat. But yeah, so look, I'm pretty happy with the way the team looks this week. But because Gabriel's gone down and I bought him at 6.4, as soon as he drops in price, I lose the 0.1 I banked in him. So I will be selling him. And if I sell him this week, it makes sense when I show you what I plan to do for the next few weeks to take it on. Now, the other thing here, as you can see, I've got the captaincy on Bruno Fernandes. Now, I'm going to talk you through why I picked Bruno this week. Now, FYI, at the moment, touch wood, and I'm touching wood here, I have a 100% success rate taking on Haaland when I captain Bruno Fernandes. If you go back and look at my team selections last year, game week 29, guess what? I flicked the card, It landed on Bruno. I captained Bruno over Haaland. We all know how well that one went. I'm just hoping it's one of those ones this week. Because obviously when I captained him a couple of game weeks ago, I was tossing up between him and Bumo, and I got the wrong one because Bumo got 15 and Bruno got 4, but Haaland got 2. So I beat him regardless. But I'm hoping that this is the week where Bruno can just deliver me a big fat score. And let's be honest, he has played versus Armenia. He had the rest in the first game because he was suspended. Scored a hat-trick, scored 2 penalties. What better form to go into a fixture that, generally speaking, Bruno Fernandes performs in as well, is against Everton. The history and the stats suggest that Bruno Fernandes should beat Haaland in the fixture alone, let alone the fact that Bruno's at home on Monday Night Football and Haaland's away against Newcastle, who really need a performance. I just think that is the most logical ploy for my team this week. I put a lot of thought into it. Originally, I was even considering going Mateta or even Daniel Munoz when he came in, but then I thought if it does a Gabriel like last week, I'll just be annoyed with myself. So that's why I'm going for Bruno. Multiple routes to points. Everyone loves that about Bruno, and I just think he is due to connect on every one of those metrics at some point, and I feel like it's coming, and I feel like it could happen on Monday Night Football during the live watch along, because I've told him, I've sent him a message, mate, the D unit needs some help, and Bruno, he's assured me he's heard the call. So the other transfers I'm looking at, and this will be for a hit. Now, it's not going to make much sense to many people when you just saw my team and the team selection and what my team will look like when I transfer these 2 blokes in. And a lot of people are probably going, why the hell are you buying Sepp Vandenberg? Why are you buying him? Why are you not buying a Liverpool defender? Why are you not buying, I don't know, a Villa defender, whatever? The reason why is because, yes, I've seen that the big at the back has worked really well for a lot of teams. I mean, the league leader is winning my league with 5 defenders at the back, and he's pretty much played it almost every single week. I'm betting against it. I just feel that the more games, the more pile up there is, the more goals there's going to be, and the less defensive returns are going to be in terms of clean sheets and all these extra bonus points flying around. So I'm going with Vandenberg. 4.5 million. He's 1.4 million cheaper than Virgil van Dijk. He's literally scored 7 points less than him this season. And I'm telling you, Vandenberg is going to score a goal before Virgil van Dijk does and get me a big fat 15-pointer. I can feel it. One game in the next 6 weeks, he's going to do it. And preferably it's one of the 3 that I'm intend on playing him in and not against one of the harder teams. Else I'm going to miss out completely. And I just want to get rid of Mark Gui. Now, a lot of people this week, I don't think are going to have optimal teams with all the flags and stuff like this going on. So I think it's an opportunity to take a -4 this week and bring in Thiago, not to play him this week, but in preparation for next week when they've got that Burnley fixture at home. It screams points, and at least then, if I have blokes not show up, my bench is going to look incredibly strong. And let's have a look at what that bench will actually look like. So this would be obviously a -4. The 3 players are in, and they all go, 2 of them go straight to the bench. So Thiago would go first sub off the bench. Then we've got Mukiele. Then we've got Vandenberg in that order. Now, a lot of people going, I can't believe you're taking a hit to bench 2 of the blokes that you're taking a hit for. But it makes sense long term. So obviously the team this week, it actually does look really good. You can make a case that maybe I should bench Rice, maybe play Mukiele, maybe play Thiago, etc., etc. Vandenberg also, FYI, has scored DC points in 5 of the 11 games this season as well. I think he's only like 1 off Virgil's 6. So, there's really nothing to compare between them. And he's got way better goal threat as well. He definitely is going to score a goal. I'm telling you, Vandenberg, you better get the memo, mate, because I've sat there and bigged you up. You need to be delivering. Not this week, but next week would be ideal scenario for me on one of the other weeks when people aren't free hitting and stuff like that. And the reason why is because free hit 13, for a lot of people, for some weird reason, seems to be a very popular week to do it. Now, my team doesn't make any sense because I'm going to have double Brentford. I've already got Haaland. And when we have a look at Game Week 13, which is where I'm going to be taking you very shortly, it makes a lot of sense. So my squad value here with these moves would leave me with 0.4 million in the bank, which is the exact money I need to do the true transfers I want to do in Game Week 13. And let's have a look at what those 2 particular moves are. So you better believe it that D Unit is 100%. And like, this is a little bit of forward planning, transfer plans for next week. And I know game week 13, obviously a lot of things can go wrong. People can get injured, etc. There's Champions League football next week and whatever. But I just think this team looks sexy. It's ready to rock. And if you look at the team and the bench, like next week, we're benching Rice, Mukiele, and Senesi, and Petrovic is on the bench as well, and playing that 11 players, that is a very comparable draft. In fact, it's probably better than most free hit drafts that are going to get concocted next week, because the majority of them are probably going to avoid the Palace and Man United game. And I think that game could be like 2-2, 3-3. And guess what? Munoz is definitely, I reckon he's got very good chance of getting an attacking return down the right-hand side, because Man United's left-hand side, left wing back, if it's Diego Dalot, will allow Munoz to absolutely feast on him. So I don't know why anyone would free hit Palace assets out or Man United assets out of their Game Week 13 team. And I just think this just screams points galore. And like, I wouldn't need a free hit, and I'd just be taking a -4. And again, then post-end, my team looks brilliant. Like, my actual plan would then be to roll to Game Week 15, use my 2 free transfers, one on removing Pope or Petrovic, and the other one will be removing Sarr for probably Minte or someone of that description around that point in time, because I believe that Mbeumo is going to be held until the end of Game Week 17 or post that, which means that when I free hit in 16, which is the plan with my team, I talked about that earlier on in the week, then the team, I'll be able to come back and he wouldn't have been sold because he's still playing, and then I'd be able to sell him in Game Week 17 when I've got my 5 free transfers. It just is all adding up perfectly, and the team, through the short term, the long term, actually looks incredible. Because the weeks where Seth van den Berg or whatever's got red fixtures like the Arsenal game, and I think there's one other game in there that I can't remember off the top of my head, he gets benched in those weeks. Like, I will be playing a 3-4-3 or a 3-5-2 every single week, because that's how I've set my team up. I've just got to hope that I've read it right and the midfield players and the forward players are going to start banging in the points. Because if they do, I'm going to be ahead of the curve, because a lot of people have moved money into their defense in order to have a 4 at the back, a 5 at the back, or something like this. I'm doing the opposite. Gabriel going down, I'm literally turfing out 2 million of my defense in order to upgrade a midfield and a forward spot. I just think, I don't know if I've got it right. I'm not going to sit there and act like I'm a genius or whatever. But where I'm at the moment, if I want to make my way up the rankings and get inside that top million by Game Week 19, I've got my triple captain. I've got the free hit 16 strategy, which I think is going to work brilliantly, because that's the week I want Saka as captain. In fact, that's the only week I really want Saka in the team. And that's where I'm going to be free hitting. So I free hit him in, I captain him. That's also the week where I've got triple City against triple Palace, which feels pretty damn bad. So again, that is something that I kind of want to dodge, and it just makes more sense for my team. So again, that is my plan. And that's why I think that taking a hit this week, and then a hit next week in Game Week 13 makes a lot of sense. Also, FYI, two of the 5 green arrows I've had this season have been the weeks where I've actually taken a hit. So like, maybe the success story is take the hit, get a green arrow. And last season I took hits on 8 different game weeks and I only got 1 red arrow and I finished inside the top 5K. So it is definitely possible to take hits and get green arrows. There's people in my league every week that I highlight on the late mail that literally get a killer score every week, and they've either taken a -4, a -8, a -12, and some of them even have taken -16s. It's just all about whether the hits make sense. So for me, I just personally believe it makes a lot of sense, and I can guarantee you I'm probably going to make that move for Thiago and Sepp van den Berg tonight. Because if Gabriel is getting closer, he's on 20% towards a decline now. Lots of people are going to be selling him between now and the deadline. He's definitely going to drop. It's either going to be tonight or it's going to be Friday night. whenever it is, and Thiago's getting exceptionally close to a price rise. He's up to, I think, 65, 68% towards a price rise. So I'm just going to have to bite the bullet and get it done and hope that these hits pay off. And I just think they will. And I feel like it will set the team up really well. It'll be as good. My team literally almost will look as good as a wild card draft next week. Like if you're wild card in game week 13, that's all you'd have unless you're taking a punt on the Liverpool players, which I just wouldn't be doing myself. So yeah, I'm pretty excited with the way the team's looking. And I know you're going to be like, this is game week 13 team selection. I know it's game week 12, but it's very important to understand the reason why I'm taking a hit. And I know a lot of other people are probably considering as well, because you're going to have the same problem with Gabriel's price dropping and that. And I'm telling you, I'm on board with you. So if you want to take the hit with me, don't feel bad. If it makes you feel any better about taking a hit yourself, D-Unit's doing it for the third time this season. And I reckon this is also another week where I'm on track with the team I've got for surely a green arrow and hopefully Harlem Blanks to make it even bigger when Bruno Fernandes bags that 17-pointer on Monday Night Football. So that brings us to the end of my team selection for game week 12. And look, hopefully that little bit at the end explaining why I'm taking the hits makes a little bit of sense. And hopefully I've managed to explain why I'm making Bruno Fernandes captain. I'm backing in my team. I like the idea of having my captain play in the last game of the game week. Every time I've done that this season, I've got a green arrow. So I'm just going back to what has worked for me last season more than this year. And last year, I always had a squad of 15 players I could pick from every single week. I've narrowed it down to like 14 the last few, and it just hasn't, I don't feel like I liked it. I've thought long and hard about over the international break about how I'm going to fix the season. And this is the beginning of the dramatic recovery we're about to see. And look, I'm excited. The triple captaincy obviously is something we'll have to think about over the coming weeks as well. Won't be getting played this week. But even Bruno's in the conversation for that, because game week 19, when Mbumo's away at AFCON, I reckon Bruno might go a little bit further forward with Ahmad not there as well, because I'll need the creativity, and he could pop against Wolves in game week 19. Just a hot tip for what I am thinking about moving forward. But yes, I'll join you back for the late mail tomorrow. Book that in your diaries, folks. 4 p.m. I'll have all the press conference updates. Make sure you see me there, and hopefully I'll see you there as well. If you've enjoyed that, smash a like on the video. Leave us a sub if you haven't already subbed, and if you want to leave a comment, that'd be appreciative as well. And that being said, folks, enjoy your Thursday night. I've been the D-Unit. See you tomorrow.